your stars have to be your stars, right? You know, in an NBA playoff series, if Luka Doncic or someone lays an egg and has a stinker, you know, automatic, that the next night they're going to come out and make up for it and ball out. And going into the 49er game and many games in the second half of the season, I mean, you didn't know what you were going to get. What was Amari Cooper going to get touches? Was CeeDee Lamb going to get touches? What was Dak Prescott going to be? What was going to happen with your tackles? Not just LC, but Tyron. Zeke going to finally run for 100 yards? Tank Lawrence? Randy Gregory? I think we knew you were going to get out of Micah. And that may be, like, if you had a confidence meter on what guaranteed performances you were going to get, it was going to be Zach Martin, 1, and probably Micah Parsons, 2. And I love what Dion said there, and Michael Irvin echoed it. You know, your stars got to show up when it's time for the stars to show up.
No, the stars do have to show up, and I'm gonna ask you something in a second. It's amazing.
Here comes the butt.
Well, I'm just saying, like, you know, so every team that loses wasn't built for the moment.
Well, I think that, I mean, when you have this, you're talking about this for 20 years now.
Not 20 years.
This group, like, for the last 3, 4, you know, maybe for the last 3 years.
Like the Bills lost this year. They were certainly built for the moment. Right?
Yes.
The Chiefs.
Yes.
Yeah, like, you know, even so, yes, I get it after 20 years.
I mean, in the AFC title game and Buffalo in an epic one, and Buffalo's like still pretty new.
Mm-hmm.
You know, this group has been together for a while, which is what Emmett was talking about. Like, yeah, Sean Payton, if he comes here in 2 years, then are you still going to have your same core? Are you going to be rebuilding to some degree?
Yeah, I just went and looked at this, and this will aid the argument that Dion and Emmett made about stepping up in the big spot, all that stuff. But it will tell Emmett that, you know, the defense doesn't matter. From 1992 to 1995, the Cowboys played in 3, 6, 8, 11 playoff games. They played in 11 playoff games, and they were 10-1 in those 11. Okay? What was their lowest point total scored?
What was their lowest?
In those 11 games between 92 and 95. They won 3 titles, and their only loss was a conference championship game in San Francisco. What was their lowest point? What was the lowest amount of points they scored in the game, in any game?
14.
27.
Okay.
They never scored less than 27 points in any game in the playoffs between 92 and 95.
Okay.
They were such an offensive juggernaut.
So how is that disproving Dion?
It's not. I'd say it's helping Dion.
Okay.
It's talking about when Emmett talked about defense. Yeah, they were scoring 27. Their lowest point total was 27. They were averaging like 36.
Right.
There ain't no defense that was gonna matter. But it does speak to Dion. Like, you know, your stars have to show up, and Troy and Emmett and Michael and Novacek and the O-line. I mean, they absolutely did show up. They showed up in every stinking game.
Yeah.
And,
right.
But we're also, and this is where it's also hard to listen to that, we cannot compare these teams to perfection. Those Cowboys teams were perfection.
Yeah.
It's just unfair.
But I do think it's I think you and I always disagree over like what the moment does to a person. We've always disagreed over it. I am a tremendous believer that, you know, moments affect people differently. I know it because I get way too nervous in certain moments where I overthink and screw up and mess up. So, like, the moment in certain aspects of life affects me. And I do believe that people who are more successful do lock in more. And Tom Brady was talking about on his podcast yesterday some type of like commercial or cartoon that it was like a cartoon or a TV show, and it was just like looking dead straight ahead, right? And I do think that Tom Brady and some people have the ability not to worry about a tweet or
Yeah.
worry about
Compartmentalize. You gotta be,
you know what I mean?
a sociopath.
Like that's a skill. I wouldn't have that same ability or skill. I would be, searching my own name like Baker Mayfield on social media. So, getting ready to do the biggest broadcast of your life. If I was hosting, the Super Bowl coverage on Sunday, I would worry about like my first minute of not stuttering as a broadcaster. I would. That's me. And I do, and I don't know how that doesn't apply to sports. And I do think the best of the best focus more, lock in more, make less mistakes. And I just think we were littered with that with the Dallas Cowboys throughout much of their second half of the season.
Look, I don't disagree that there are certain moments that are bigger.
You can't tell me for someone who's never won a golf tournament or a major, they're walking up the final hole that everyone feels the exact same and that some are going to overthink it. And then what's my fourth mechanic that I need to remember for the swing? Remember not to choke. Remember to breathe. And you go through all these little mental steps in bigger moments. Guys at the free throw line, there's a reason that they come up short a lot of times. And I don't know, just feel like the Cowboys, they lack that in big time must win situations. I mean, there's a lot of years of evidence that something is coming up short.
Yeah, and I think some of that is, maybe they're just overhyped, not good enough. Who knows? But yeah, look, I don't think it's that there's no such thing as bigger moments. I just think that it's you never know. You have no way of knowing who is going to fade and who is going to prop themselves up, and you have no idea when that's going to happen. So I can't really use it. But no, look, singing in your shower is different than singing in front of the American Airlines Center.
I even disagree with that. Like if you play on a team with all your buddies, right? I think you get a feeling for someone that is like an aggressive, cutthroat, like give it to me versus someone who may fumble around, bumble around, do something when they're given the ball in that situation, whether it's a soccer team that, I played on or just other people that really, 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 really well, like I can, it's not related to athletics, but just in terms of being around people for a long enough time, them. I can give a breakdown of every single person at this radio station, like an in-depth, this person does this person does that, this is a pro, this is a con, because we've worked together for a decade. You know people and their habits of, well, this one's going to work hard, that one's not going to work hard. I'd put this one on that assignment and not that one on that assignment. You know about them. You learn about them. Who's capable of what? Who's not capable of what?
Oh, yeah. No, I'm saying like, those are a lot of those are tangible traits. Like, you don't know when someone is going to miss a free throw.
Right.
So it could be a choke. And they may not choke in that moment, and you have never know when it's going to pop up. And that's what makes it difficult to kind of, pinpoint when it's happening and when it isn't.